Have you ever strolled through the garden center and thought to yourself, goodness, why is everything so expensive these days? Prices on pots, tools, and even the simplest little gadgets can add up so quickly. But here's a little secret I've learned over the years. You don't have to spend a fortune to keep your garden glowing. In fact, many of the tricks I use come from the most unexpected place, the Dollar Tree. Yes, that humble store where you might pop in for dish soap or greeting cards could hold the key to your most beautiful and budget-friendly garden yet. And let's be honest, wouldn't it be nice to keep your roses blooming and your tomatoes thriving without dipping into retirement savings for every little gadget? I had a friend once who joked, if gardening keeps costing this much, I'll have to start charging my neighbors to come look at it. Well, with these little Dollar Tree tricks, you won't need to worry about that. In fact, your neighbors might be the ones peeking over the fence and wondering how you manage to make your garden look so good for so little. This is Garden Glow DIY, where we keep gardening simple, joyful, and always budget-friendly. I like to think of this channel as a gentle chat over the garden gate between friends, sharing the kind of wisdom and stories that make gardening less of a chore and more of a pleasure. So if you love the idea of saving money while still creating a space that feels like a personal paradise, you're in the right place. And before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It's completely free, and it makes sure you never miss a tip that could save you both time and money in your garden. All right, grab yourself a comfy chair, maybe a cup of tea, and let's get into the first few tricks that'll have your garden blooming beautifully without breaking the bank. Now here's our first little money-saving gem. The next time you're at Dollar Tree, head over to the storage aisle. You'll find those simple $1.25 plastic storage bins. Nothing fancy, but perfect for what we're about to do. Bring one home, and with just a few quick steps, you've got yourself a budget-friendly planter. First, grab a drill, or even a sturdy nail, and poke a few holes in the bottom for drainage. Don't skip this part. Your plants like a good drink, but they don't want soggy feet. Next, line the inside with a bit of landscape fabric, which, by the way, you can also pick up at Dollar Tree. This helps keep soil in while letting water flow out nice and easy. Now comes the fun part. Fill it with soil and tuck in a few herbs, a head of lettuce, or some cheerful flowers. Before you know it, you've got a thriving little garden bed for a fraction of the price. And honestly, why spend $15 on a planter when your basil doesn't care what it grows in? It's going to taste just as fresh tossed into your summer pasta or sprinkled over a salad, no matter what the container looks like. I've got a neighbor who used this exact trick and lined her porch with these bins full of petunias. Every time someone comes over, they assume she bought matching planters from a fancy garden shop. She just smiles and keeps the secret to herself. That's the beauty of it. You save money, but your garden still looks like $1,000,000. Now let me show you a trick that feels almost magical when harvest time comes around. Head to the laundry section at Dollar Tree and pick up one of those plastic laundry baskets. Yes, the same kind you'd use for folding towels can become the perfect little home for your root vegetables. Here's what you do. Line the inside with a burlap sack or even a piece of fabric. You can usually find both right there in the store. This keeps the soil snug inside, while still letting the basket breathe. Then, fill it up with rich soil and tuck in your seed potatoes or carrot seeds. That's it. No fancy raised bed required. The real beauty of this trick comes at the end of the season. Instead of spending hours bent over, digging in hard ground with an aching back, you simply tip the basket over. Out tumble your potatoes or carrots, like hidden treasures spilling into the sunlight. I can tell you, the first time I tried this, I laughed out loud. It was that easy. And here's a little encouragement for you. Gardening doesn't have to be a battle with the soil. These simple Dollar Tree baskets turn the whole process into something light, fun, and gentle on your body. My friend down the street swears by this method. She says it saved her knees and kept her love of gardening alive. Honestly, once you try it, you may never go back to the old way again. Here's a little idea that brings both charm and practicality to your garden. You know those wire shower caddies you usually see hanging in the bathroom? Well, grab a few from Dollar Tree and bring them out to the garden instead. All you need to do is hang them along a fence, porch railing, or even the side of a shed. To turn them into planters, line the baskets with cocoa liners or a piece of landscape fabric. That way the soil stays put but the water drains through, just like in a proper hanging basket. Then, fill them with trailing flowers like petunias or nasturtiums. Or, if you'd like something tasty, tuck in some strawberry plants. The effect is delightful. Instead of staring at a bare fence, you'll have a vertical garden bursting with life and color. And here's a little nostalgic thought. Remember those hanging baskets that used to grace your grandmother's porch? Overflowing with blooms, swaying gently in the summer breeze? This is the thrifty version, and it's every bit as charming. I tried this last summer along my back deck with trailing petunias, and let me tell you, the neighbors couldn't believe they were just old shower caddies. One of them even joked, "Well, now I need to raid my bathroom for garden supplies." That's the joy of it. You're creating beauty from the simplest things, saving money, and adding a touch of homestead charm right at home. Now let's talk about comfort, because gardening should feel good, not leave you stiff and sore. One of my favorite little Dollar Tree finds is the humble pool noodle. You've seen them in bright colors every summer, but instead of tossing them in the pool, let's bring them into the garden. Take a pool noodle and cut it lengthwise, just like slicing a hot dog bun. Once you've done that, you can slip it right over the handle of your rake, hoe, or shovel. Suddenly, you've got a cushion grip that makes working in the garden so much easier on your hands. If arthritis or tender joints sometimes slow you down, this little trick is a lifesaver. Another way I love to use them is as soft edging on the ground when I'm kneeling to plant or weed. Just cut a section, lay it down, and rest your knees on top. It's like having a little cushion in the garden. No more sore knees from hard soil or gravel. And here's a gentle chuckle for you. These noodles may not float in your pool anymore, but they sure do float your comfort while gardening. I have a friend who lines her entire raised bed edges with them, and she swears it makes her garden feel like a spa day. It's such a simple idea, but it really does make the whole gardening experience more joyful. Now here's a trick that turns your garden into pure magic once the sun goes down. The next time you're in Dollar Tree, pick up a handful of those little solar lights. They may look simple in the store, but once you place them in your garden, they create the most enchanting glow. You can slip them right into the soil of your planters, line them along your walkway, or even get a little creative by tucking the light heads into repurposed jars. Drop in a few glass gems or colorful stones, also found at Dollar Tree, and suddenly, you've got sparkling lanterns that catch the light and shimmer like fireflies. The best part? These little lights soak up the sun all day and shine for you all night, without adding a penny to your electric bill. A glowing garden at night feels magical. It's the kind of thing that makes you want to sit outside just a little longer, enjoying the peace and quiet. I've had neighbors stop by and say, "It feels like you're walking into a fairy tale out here." And that's the beauty of it. You're not just saving money, you're creating moments. Imagine sitting with a glass of iced tea on a warm summer evening, the garden softly lit around you, and not a single worry about the power bill. Simple, affordable, and so full of joy. Here's a clever little idea that makes herb drying neat and effortless. Pick up a simple wire dish rack from Dollar Tree, the kind you'd usually keep by the sink for plates, and bring it into your garden kitchen instead. When you harvest herbs like basil, thyme, or mint, just lay the bunches right across the rack. The open design allows air to circulate all around them, helping them dry evenly and quickly. You can even slide a tray or baking sheet underneath to catch any leaves that fall, so nothing goes to waste. It's such a tidy system, and here's the part one think you'll appreciate most. It keeps your counters neat and means no bending to pick little leaves off the floor. I remember when I first started drying herbs the old-fashioned way, hanging them upside down in bundles. Lovely to look at, yes, but oh, what a mess on the floor. This dish rack trick saves you that trouble. One of my friends uses this method every summer, and by fall her pantry jars are lined with neatly dried herbs that last all winter long. She says it makes her feel like she's running her own little apothecary. And really, isn't that what gardening is all about? Finding joy in the small, simple ways we connect with nature and bring its gifts indoors. Now let's take a little walk into the kitchen, because sometimes the best garden tools are hiding right in plain sight. Those old muffin tins you see at Dollar Tree, or maybe even tucked in the back of your own cupboard, make the perfect seed starters. Here's how simple it is. Fill each cup with soil, press in your seeds, and cover them lightly. To keep everything moist and cozy, just stretch a bit of plastic wrap, also from Dollar Tree, right over the top. It creates a little greenhouse effect, holding in warmth and humidity so your seeds sprout happily. And here's a sweet nostalgic thought. Who knew that the same pan that once baked cupcakes for the grandkids could also bake up a brand new garden? It's a lovely way of giving new life to something familiar. I know a neighbor who uses nothing but muffin tins each spring, and her seedlings always seem to come up strong and cheerful. She says it's her secret recipe for a thriving garden, half soil, half love. The best part is, when your seedlings are ready, you simply pop them out like little muffins and tuck them into your beds or planters. No fuss, no expensive seed trays, just a gentle, budget-friendly start to another season of blooms and harvests. Before we wrap up, I've got a handful of little bonus tricks that are just too good not to share. These are the kinds of things that make you smile because they're so simple, and yet they work like a charm. First, Dollar Tree ice cube trays. They're perfect for starting tiny seeds like lettuce or basil. Each little cube is just the right size for a seedling, and when they're ready, you can pop them out just like frozen cubes and move them to bigger pots. Next time you're in the utensil aisle, grab a pack of plastic spoons or forks. Stick them into the soil and use a permanent marker to label what you've planted. No more forgetting which row is carrots and which is beets. I know someone who even color codes hers. Red spoons for tomatoes, green for herbs. Cheap spray bottles are another treasure. Fill them with water and use them to gently mist delicate seedlings. It's much kinder than a heavy watering can and helps your young plants grow strong without being knocked over. And if your garden shed or garage tends to collect tools in every corner, pick up a pegboard or some hooks from Dollar Tree. Hang your tools neatly, and you'll never waste time hunting for that trowel again. Here's a gentle reminder, my friend. It's not about spending big. It's about being clever with what you already have. Gardening has always been that way. Our grandparents knew it, and now we get to carry on the tradition with a thrifty twist. And let me tell you, when you walk out into a garden that's blooming, organized, and full of life, nobody's asking how much you spent. They're just enjoying the beauty right along with you. Let's take a quick stroll back through everything we've covered today, just like walking down the garden path one more time. We started with simple storage bins that turn into planters for herbs and flowers. Then those laundry baskets, perfect little potato harvesters that make digging a thing of the past. Shower caddies gave us charming vertical gardens, bringing blooms and berries up where we can see them. Pool noodles added comfort, whether cushioning tool handles or softening the ground for our knees. We lit things up with solar lights, turning any garden corner into a glowing retreat. Dish racks kept our herbs neat and tidy as they dried, ready for winter teas and stews. And muffin tins gave our seedlings a thrifty, cozy place to sprout, like little cupcakes of life, ready to be planted out. Each of these ideas is so simple, yet together they create a garden that saves money, makes life easier, and brings a smile every time you step outside. And remember, even the smallest changes can make a big difference. Your garden doesn't need expensive gadgets to be beautiful. It just needs your care, your creativity, and a little cleverness.